It's after 7 o'clock and everybody's here. Do we have someone recording?
I think we're good to go, right? Thank you.
Good to go.
Yes, sir.
At this point, I call this meeting to order. If you take roll, if you state your name from my left to my right for the recording.
Mark Cecil.
Michelle Sumerian.
Randy Brakeman.
Fred Galosh.
Linda Novak.
John Simon.
Seeing as we have a quorum, I'll call this meeting to order. First order of business, the adoption of the agenda.
I move we adopt the agenda as written.
Second.
Moving second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Under new business, the building official introduced the case, but for those who have not been here before, this is a zoning board of appeals slash sign board of appeals. And what we do is, we have a presentation of the case by the building official, and then a presentation by the applicant who was denied, and then we'll have public comments if there are any. And at that point, we'll close public comments and have discussion among the board. And in the discussion, we'll present finding of facts on which we'll base our decision. And then we'll have a motion, and the motion must be in the positive in order to pass. And that being said, that's how we'll run the meeting. At this point, I'd like to turn it over to Bill Denon to introduce our case. And
The first or only case tonight is the Sign Board of Appeals case number 26-001 for the property at 32652 Franklin Road. The zoning district here is a C1, and the request is for a ground sign. Under the Village of Franklin ordinances, section 1474.18, parent C, parent 4, location setback from the right-of-way, ground signs may be in the front yard, provided that no portion of the sign be closer than 5 feet to the right-of-way. The proposed sign is to be located 2 feet from the front property line, which is, the front property line is also the property side of the sidewalk. So if you're familiar with that area, the property line runs down the property side of the sidewalk, which leaves a spot of about 3 feet where there's dirt, and then the parking lot starts.
Are
The
you talking
applicant,
in the back of the building or on the side of the building?
no, right here. This is the road, this is the sidewalk.
Okay.
so the applicant is proposing to install this sign directly on the face side of the split rail fence that is there, which is in that small area of dirt, which actually happens to be 2 feet. So the request is for 3 feet from the 5 foot to allow the sign to be 2 feet back from the sidewalk or the front property line. I can answer any questions you may have. I do have a property with dimensions on it here. You can pass that down and you can see where the property line is actually running down
And we're talking about this dirt spot there.
the dirt spot would be, looking at this, we're looking at the property this way. There's 2 dirt spots. There's one for the parking on the left as you drive in. There is another dirt area to the right, which separates the parking on the right side of the property. So we're talking about in that area. Start. Another one.
This doesn't have-
Directions, so you guys all get the idea.
This helps me more than.
Is this a new restaurant?
I don't know what it is.
What is that new packet?
Bill,
Bill, what building is this?
This was
The old market.
the old market basket, which is now the fitness-driven building,
Yeah.
and the building behind, which
Yeah.
was
A
the
restaurant.
old farmhouse coffee, but is now going to be, well, it was called Great Rock,
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what Lisa's gonna call it, all the her explain it to
Okay,
you.
so this is
But
a
it's, that is
sidewalk
the
that goes around the
ground
building.
sign for the
I don't think
entire
so.
property.
I think that's the
But
overlay.
is it advertising
Oh.
for the
Oh,
restaurant
yeah,
or
the
for
building,
the?
I see.
Yeah,
Well, according to the name on it, well, I'll let the owner describe that for you, but the Sens Commons would lead me to believe it's indicating everything on the property.
So, well, she,
So it's both buildings then?
My name is Lisa McDonald. I own the whole property that we're speaking of. So it's where Market Basket used to be. And that, as you can see, is the whole property is where Market Basket was, which I've now been occupying that full space for the last 6 years. And then the old farmhouse that's behind. So that's one full property. I purchased the whole property in 2024. It's been a long little journey, but I will be opening a coffee shop and a wine bar in the farmhouse. So I want to we've rebranded and we've launched our new brand as Sens Commons because I want the whole property to be one specific space and not just Great Dog Cafe and fitness driven. That's why I took time in really trying to formulate what I wanted the area to be called, because I want it to be more than just two single entities. I want it to be a whole space where we can do not only, you know, wellness and coffee and wine, but bring in the community. And like, I would love to really bring back the farmers market and make this an actual, you know, a space. And that's why I want to call it Commons versus just having two entities. And what we really struggled with is how do you signage for this? I don't want an A-frame sign. I don't like them. I don't think that they're attractive. I know that they don't, you know, the village hasn't really liked A-frame signs also. So I have this building that's set back a ways, you know, it's, I don't know how many feet that's set back off the road, but you don't get any visibility with the farmhouse. And so all I want is some type of ground sign that will then label the whole space, Sens Commons. And Sens means senses in French, but it's just bringing in the whole sensory experience because I'm offering personal training, fitness, massage, coffee, wine, food. And then we also want to do more, we're going to be doing art installations both in the studio, in the cafe, you know, bringing in people to be able to see things other than just what's outside. So trying to come up with a spot for a sign has been challenging because, you know, you're limited, you know, on my building, on the main front building, the Market Basket building, we have that signage and that's fine. But how do I advertise and bring signage to that back building, you know, which is different? You know, do I put a sign on, if I add another sign to the brick building that's in the front, it draws attention to that. It doesn't bring people into that back space. So we really thought that having that, bringing a sign to the front, more on that right side and that dirt area would at least bring your eye to that corner, which would then hopefully lead you to look at that back corner and the farmhouse that's in the back area. So I am open to your suggestions and your ideas if, you know, this doesn't work. Go ahead.
Yeah, if I was driving by and I saw a sign that said the name that you have, I would have no idea of what you do there. I mean, you want a sign because you want to tell
But
people
we're
what
not.
you're doing.
Yeah.
Not really what we're
I know,
discussing.
but I'm
It's
saying.
not, that's not our jurisdiction.
I mean, we can put,
I'm sorry, I'm out of, I'm not answering, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
doing your marketing consulting.
Right.
So this sign is not gonna be backlit or anything, it's strictly,
it wouldn't be backlit.
Yeah, can you describe the sign a little? Because I think it says it's like aluminum posts and then acrylic
So
lettering.
it would be
or-
a flat aluminum, do you not have the?
Yeah, I had,
There was in the last. one
There's
we
this.
submitted- There was a.
Oh, so this
that and
page
the next
here.
page.
okay.
Yeah.
That's the page before the picture.
okay.
So, it would just be a flat aluminum or stainless steel with, it protrudes, so it's
I
an
didn't get one of
acrylic. You use acrylic for the lettering, and it just sticks out
proud.
slightly, it's just acrylic. So, the lighting is always an issue, because how do you light that doesn't
Yeah.
bother neighbors or whatever, because we are, and also, we have people who live across the street. So,
But the only thing that would seem of any concern because of what's happening right now, is when they come and they plow, are they gonna cover your sign up?
Right, and exactly, I mean, which they've been really good. I mean, I have good plow people, but the village is the one who, you know, plows
Okay.
the front. I think it's far enough away because it would be 3 feet from the sidewalk. And right now, the fence is there and nobody plows into the fence, which I didn't put the fence there also, by the way. So
Yeah.
the fence was put there by the village. So I don't know how that was,
Are the
Yeah.
trees there are existing, right?
no, they're not existing. That's
Oh,
what
they're
we
not,
would
okay,
ask,
so
yeah.
are you guys, so you're
We'd be
adding
adding
the
the trees.
tree and then the signage in front of the
Correct,
trees?
yep, both trees on either side,
And there's still gonna be 3 feet between the sign and the sidewalk?
yeah.
And how many feet are between the fence and the sidewalk? Do we know that?
It's in that whole 5-foot area, it can't be a
Oh, so it's
lot.
5 feet, that dirt patch
From-
is 5
from-
feet.
Yeah, from the sidewalk, which is the front property line, to the edge of the first parking space is 5 feet.
Okay,
So this entire distance here
Yes.
is 5 feet.
okay.
So it would be in front of the fence.
It'd be, yeah,
And how tall will this fence be? I mean, the sign,
30 inches.
30 inches off the ground?
no.
24.
28,
4 inches off the ground.
4 inches off the ground.
oh, yeah.
4 inches off the ground, 24-inch sign, and it is 5 feet long.
It says since
Commons.
comment.
And so you said there is lighting or there's not lighting?
There's not lighting proposed at this time, no.
And just for curious, what does since commons mean?
Sens means senses, and then commons is an area, like a common area.
Sounds like a great concept.
Yeah, I love it. Are you gonna have signage on the farmhouse also?
No, we're just on the front window. We're just doing very
Similar
minimal
to what you have
signage.
at the gym?
Yeah,
Okay.
yep.
Okay.
So people won't know that that's a coffee shop or whatever.
We're
In some,
that's
yeah,
fast.
what was
Yeah,
Yes.
That was my
And,
point.
no, they will, I mean, they will and they won't if they look at, you know, it up. It's one of those things, I want minimal, you know, advertising is done a little bit differently now anyways. It's more social media, it's drawing things in. Names don't mean a lot of things. I mean, people don't go by and see a coffee shop. They'll Google, they'll see what's available. They'll be like, oh, that's a coffee shop, and then they'll drive in. I don't think you're getting people coming because they drive by and they see a cafe, they're not pulling in. You know, they've looked ahead of time. They've looked for stuff from that regards. I mean, how often do you drive by something and be like, I'm going there? You've already looked online for something, you know, that we did
well, I
that.
think in this neighborhood, that's even more pertinent. Like, I don't think people drive through downtown Franklin, like, you know.
They're not looking for anything.
No, right,
Right,
They
exactly.
drive through downtown
Right.
Franklin,
yeah.
Telegraph's
They're trying to
blocked
get-
off.
exactly.
And that's the only reason they're coming.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's one of those things, I want it to be more of a neighborhood gathering spot. So you're going to know it's there, you're going to come, you've looked for us online, that's how you're coming to us. It's, you know, it's about being word of mouth. And most people drive by the studio and they think it's an art gallery. So, I mean, I had it as, you know, the studio for 15 years and, you know, we get people walking in and they'll be like, oh, when is this? And, you know, then I tell them and they might want a tour and they might come back. But that's always how I've been with my businesses, and it's always been about word of mouth and not just in your face about what we're offering and what we're doing. So I like to be more low key and draw in people that way versus being, you know, McDonald's, I don't need the arches. So I think having more of that holistic approach and
So you don't want to call it Backstreet Coffee and Wine, huh?
Right.
Bill, if
maybe
she,
good, you know.
Bill, if she finds out that this does not draw anybody, could she change the verbiage on this without coming back to us?
Correct. But she would have to go to the Historic District Commission. And she's already been there and they have blessed the sign. And actually, if you'll see in the paragraph down, the second paragraph down, they're recommending
Yeah.
your good graces on this.
I have a question, Randy. Are you saying that if we okayed this, we'd have to okay, everybody else could put a sign up in a similar?
No.
No.
No, that's not, a variance only goes with the property. It doesn't set a precedent. If there are reasons for a sign at that location on this unique property, that means it's unique to that property. That's determined in finding of facts. the fact that a sign would be located that close to the street or that close to the property line is unique to the property itself. And it would only be considered a precedent if there was an identical piece of property in the village to do the same thing,
I see.
which there isn't.
And so if I'm understanding, in order, if she were to go by the code as it is, her sign would essentially, like, it wouldn't even work in that space at all, because,
It'd be in the first parking space.
yeah, okay, so,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. So then you lose a parking space,
Yeah.
which parking in the village of Franklin is at a premium anyway. So,
When you've already got the fence there, so.
Yeah.
Right, and that's why we were thinking like a low ground sign. We already had the fence. It wasn't going to be that big of, because if you go in and we do more of a pole sign, like they have down the street at Zeven Mayer, then that's a lot more, visually, you can see it better, but it's large.
Yeah.
Paint the side of the building like it used to.
I actually would love that, but I thought that would.
And I don't think, there's no reason why
are you
she,
trying to give the HCC a heart?
I know this,
Maybe.
it would be really,
gonna
I
put all
would
those
love.
people in cars.
I
They could
would
stand a little-
to have it
That's
be-
how it
do,
used to be.
That'd be cool.
Gary has a condition.
Bill, if this property would change hands, would that sign go with the property?
Yes. Variances go with the property.
Okay.
Would they have to come back to us with a new sign?
No, they can always have a sign there.
Would it-
Where they would have to go after this point, if you grant this, is they would have to go back to the Historic District Commission to change the sign. The only time they would be required to come back to you is if they wanted to change the location, which would impact the violation of the ordinance to a greater degree than what would be granted here this evening.
If they made the sign larger, would that be needed?
We could write, we could
stipulate
opt
that.
in with the finding of
Yeah, you
facts.
could stipulate that.
We
It
could
meets the
stipulate.
ordinance for size now, and I would caution that you would limit something to something less than what the ordinance allows, but you can do that.
What does the ordinance allow?
Big.
How did
This
I
is
know
a
you were
lot
gonna-
smaller than what. the-
Because it's me, you know I'm gonna ask.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you, then.
I think ours is almost half the size. You could get a lot
Yeah,
bigger.
you can
Yeah.
get, you can get
Yeah.
quite a bit more. I'll answer that in a few minutes. Let me look it up, okay?
Well, yeah,
Well, the other comment is, in some of the restrictions, you could state that it's not illuminated. Because this sign is not asking for it to be illuminated. And that could be a restriction or a covenant of a granting of the easement.
But-
what's he say?
I mean, what if it was like landscape lighting?
It's a question of illumination or not illumination of a sign. Yes, Bill?
Well-
Backlit signs aren't permitted by the
Right.
ordinance anyway, so if you're talking about illumination, it would have to be
From the
something
front?
that shines
A
on the
spot.
face,
Yeah,
so.
Yeah.
that's all.
Would you have
If you
to
want to
get that-
limit that, then you could condition the sign with that restriction.
Would you have to get an approval to run electrical there because it's so close to the sidewalk? Like, would that be another?
No, you
Approval
could run
that would be-
electric
Well,
out there.
and for that matter, you could do a, solar,
Right.
just, you know.
Solar in the wintertime in Michigan is really, the sun doesn't shine, and when it does, it's so cold, the batteries are frozen.
If we grant the ordinance,
And
does
you'd
the
be covered in
sign,
snow. Sorry.
does the sign, can the sign be the size of the sign ordinance, the ordinance says now, or can it be limited? Because in the space that it's at, you wouldn't want it to be a huge sign. What I'm saying is, can we limit the size of the sign?
You could condition it specifically to the application that was submitted.
Yeah.
Therefore, if they wanted to increase the sign, even though the ordinance would permit it, because it has a variance on it, it would need to come back to increase its size.
Good,
Yeah.
If you condition the approval
good.
It doesn't,
back to the application submitted.
it doesn't mean it can't be changed in the future, it just means it would have to be reapplied for to
Right.
have a change.
Correct. The size of sign, ground sign shall not exceed 48 square feet. She's way under that.
Yeah,
No single surface should be greater than 24,
Yeah,
so
no, it's a-
actually,
It's a small
you
sign.
get 24 per face. If you turned it the other way. So,
But then you'd be in the parking spot and
you'd
Right,
be
that
out in the
was-
street.
Right, you'd be in the street. Because that's why we couldn't figure out how to do a sign that would face both ways, because to meet there's not enough room.
Yeah.
So,
No, not unless you go parking place to do it.
right,
Or if you were on the property line between you and Perlmutter's.
right.
But then it's not.
And then it's in that tree, we'd have to cut down the trees, and
whole
then,
different ball of wax.
Okay.
wow,
Cutting trees would be a whole different ball of wax.
exactly,
Not us. Go talk to,
right, somebody else.
So it'll just be straight with the sidewalk, like
Correct, it would be
parallel
parallel
exactly
to
to
the
the sidewalk? Yeah.
Any other questions from the board? Thank you. We have no no one here for public comments, but
No letters.
I was gonna ask, confirm there's no letters, no public comment, nobody present,
Nobody called
carrier pigeon,
or email.
bottle and, note in the bottle.
And it's okay, it's okay with your next door neighbor? I mean, in other words,
They
you're
didn't
very
say-
close to the,
Everybody within 1,000 feet got notification that this meeting was happening tonight. I would assume that if they had a concern, it would most likely be here.
at this point, I'd like to move on to finding of facts. Is there any discussion first, though? Okay.
Just,
if you put a sign out there, does the business have to open within a certain amount of time from when the sign is?
no,
does- In other words, can a sign be out there and then for 6 months, you're not in business? Is that part, is there any sort of stipulation?
No.
No. Okay,
And I wouldn't want to put the sign out until I open.
okay.
Well, the sign specifically does not reference coffee shop.
Okay.
But
I
Both
want
pieces.
all be at once, I want to do it.
I understand what I'm
so-
saying, it's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
it doesn't specifically reference that.
Okay.
And no, there's no stipulation on that. But if you open tomorrow, it'll be iced coffee.
Were you doing facts?
Yes,
Fact one, the area to the right of the driveway is 5 feet in depth, which is insufficient to put the sign up within ordinance.
correct.
fact two, that the hardship is that the owner does not want to lose parking when parking is at a premium.
Fact three, the HDC Historic District Commission has approved this and recommends us to do the same.
Fact four, that there has not been any comments, remarks, or letters from any of the neighboring properties.
Let's see, what was I even doing? Depends on how to word this.
Would be a fact that it is not gonna be lit at this time.
Do you need details about the size as part of the fact finding?
Yes,
Okay, with fact six,
60 inches by
60
24.
inches by 24 and 4 inches off the ground.
60 inches, yeah.
Well, it's,
Mr. Chair, I think that wouldn't, versus being a fact, that's part of the application. You might want to put that in as part of your motion to approve.
Okay,
Just a suggestion on that.
yeah, I think that's a cleaner way to do it.
there's currently no sign there.
The property in and of itself, as you had mentioned earlier, so I don't add too much to your program here, but you had mentioned this property is unique in of itself as, one building on the property is barely at the setback, that the property is right, used almost all of it up to the front property line.
Yeah.
So that in and of itself would pose itself as unique.
So this is one business, not two?
It's two separate entities. So it's the personal training studio
Mhm.
and massage, so wellness facilities in the front where the Market Basket used to be.
Okay, no, I mean, I know where it is, I'm just wondering
Oh, yeah.
if it's considered, when you report to the state or the
It's
government.
two entities.
Okay.
So, and actually, right, because I have the entity that owns the property, which is Lamac Management, and then I have the two separate entities that are the businesses. So,
Technically, it would end up being a multi-tenant building sign. In other words, it's one sign advertising multi-tenants. And with respect to the ordinance under section C3, multi-tenant buildings, only one ground sign shall be permitted. So she can only have one ground sign advertising everything that's happening on the property, which is what she's requesting. So that meets the ordinance. Whether or not used by one or more individual tenants. So it may have numerous entities on the property, but this would actually be considered a ground sign for the property.
So had you had a bigger sign on your exercise studio, you couldn't have this sign? Is that what you're saying?
The exercise studio is not a ground sign, it's a window sign.
Actually, one is a building sign.
Building sign.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Wrong term.
I see.
It's actually called the projection sign to get right into the technical term for it, but either way, this is the only ground sign for that property,
Okay.
so.
Randy, I don't know if this is actually a finding of fact, but that this, you mentioned that the Historic Commission has approved it, but this is also very much in keeping with what planning and what the master plan has been talking about, creating kind of a common area and a coffee shop and
Yeah.
a gathering spot.
So you're saying it supports the master plan?
Yes.
Anything else? Do we miss anything?
You want to include the zoning, C1?
Yeah? C1? No.
And in many ways, the property is existing non-conforming.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Very much so. You
For
couldn't
a
build
lot of
that.
reasons, I hate to
You
get
couldn't-
started.
You couldn't build that building there,
Yeah, no,
or the two of them, much less one.
either one, yeah, so.
By the way, are you planning on putting the trees that are shown here in? Good.
yeah. We needed to bring greener to it. It was hard to figure out how do you create, I mean, it's just such massive amounts of concrete and asphalt, and how do you,
Soften it, yeah.
yeah, soften it. So we're gonna get rid of some of the sidewalk around the cafe, around that building too, and bring in more grass around that building.
good.
So it's not
Nice.
so covered in concrete too.
Beautiful.
At this point, I entertain a motion to approve the finding of facts.
Okay, motion to approve, finding of facts.
Second.
Moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Any further discussion? Entertain a motion concerning this request.
Motion to approve signed Board of Appeals case number 26-001 for a zoning variance for a ground sign.
Actually, can I correct you?
I know you will.
Okay, well, I'm not trying to be rude, but the sign ordinance is not part of the zoning ordinance. It's a separate
Okay.
regulatory
Sign
ordinance, so it's the sign ordinance.
Not zoning.
Can I ask, is there a projected time when you're planning on it? Oh, I'm sorry. Thought you-
Can I get a second?
Yeah, okay, there was talk earlier
What do we want?
of covenants on this approval concerning the size of the sign and the lack of illumination. Did you want those covenants in there or not?
Yes.
I do, yeah.
You want the covenant on
Well, she's
illumination?
doing the motion.
Yeah, she has a motion. Will you accept
No, no,
amendments to it?
and
No.
the trees.
Do I want it? No,
But you-
I think it's fine. I mean, we're finally getting what we want, and I think that,
No, I'm
Even
asking
if there
you,
was-
are you-
what?
will you accept amendments or to your motion?
I think what you need to do, Randy, is back it up, take her motion, see if it gets seconded, and move on.
There you go.
Okay. Have a motion on the floor. Any seconds?
Second.
Have a second?
Now you can make amendments to it.
Yeah,
Second.
I thought we were gonna not second and redo the motion with the amendments we were thinking about.
The way Robert's Rules of Order has it, that a motion has to be seconded to have it move forward to do anything with it. Once it's seconded, you don't have to vote on it if there's an amendment to that made by somebody else. Now, if there's an amendment that comes in, it can be done if the original motioner and original seconder agrees with that. But at this point in time, I don't think that's happening. So what has to happen is a motion to amend that first motion has to take place with a second on that, and then that vote takes place first, and then you vote on it.
Because we seconded it.
Yeah,
We're lo-
Okay, that being said, the first question is, someone has suggested an amendment?
I'd like to propose that we accept amendments to this,
you want to make a motion to
the
amend it?
motion, motion to amend the motion.
Any second on that?
Second.
Second.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
You
yeah,
have to
vote on the
that.
amendment, and then you go back and vote on the amended motion.
But,
But we determine
Doug-
what the amendment is first, correct?
No, this just says we can amend, it doesn't say what
Yeah,
we're
we
amending.
can
Oh,
amend.
okay.
So
But
we
the
have to
the
vote on the
motion
am-
to amend has to be specific as to what it is. That's your point,
Yeah.
correct?
But that has to be
Yes.
second after we,
You gotta make the motion with what that includes,
Yeah.
and then get a second on it. So your amended motion would be that the sign is not lit, and that the sign is as per the application submitted.
Yes. What-
Is that what your motion
exactly what
was?
he said.
and that we stipulate that the trees be installed. Because that was something that I think we're,
That would be a condition, that could be added.
like that.
I mean, I think your applicant's already said she would, but that's,
I
I'm,
already paid for them, actually, they were supposed to come in, and before the season, and then the rain and the snow and everything came and we
good,
didn't get
then
them
you,
planted.
then check.
So, yes, so we're checked, I have to check, so.
Okay, so we have,
so is that your amended motion?
yes, the three amendments, three.
So not lit, the sign as it's proposed in this document tonight, and that there are trees planted with it.
Yes. Okay,
You're
that's my
seconding?
motion.
I would second
Hey,
that, yeah.
Okay, so
Oh,
Well,
maybe,
I,
we have to discuss it.
my concern is with the lighting, because it gets dark here at 4:30, and it's dark until 8:30 in the morning, for much of the year. And I think that if you're gonna specify lighting, that you should specify exactly what kind of lighting you're not approving. Because honestly, if there was a small spot pointing out what's there, I think number one, because it's so close to the road, for safety reasons when it's dark out, and number two, for being able to identify the property. That's why I'm doing this. I mean, I understand you don't want a sign that is lit from the inside, but everybody, so many places have just small landscape spots. And I think that for both a safety reason and, it points up something positive in Franklin, that we have
That's a good point.
this coffee shop and this
There's
nice
not one
thing.
of the hangover lights right in that area?
Huh?
There's not one of the larger lights right there?
No, it's down and across the
It's,
street.
yeah, I mean,
There's nothing
that,
near there, I know that.
So.
no, I don't think so. So that, that's my only concern. I don't want to throw up roadblocks, and I want it to be successful, and if it means putting
Well,
up
you
a
could put it down
small,
for illuminated, illuminated by amount of wattage and limited to the hours of operation. So if she's closed, it's not on all night. You know, if you close at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, the sign's off at that point. Most businesses are, but some leave them on all night long to advertise where they're at, and that's, you know, trying to avoid that scenario.
That makes sense.
What's directly across the street? Is it a house?
House.
Residential.
Yeah, okay.
But I mean, even if they're, you know, you're talking about a sign that's here, the house is over there.
Yeah,
And at the most, you're gonna have a spot here that's,
Yeah,
it's not gonna affect anybody
Yeah, either that or they come up
other
like
than the
this.
sign itself, and I just,
Trying to do a 5-foot sign with a spot that's no more than 2 feet away.
You're gonna have overhead, a little overhead.
no.
She could
No.
have
No,
voltage
not just very-
upright.
We, I just wanna make sure that
you can see it?
we're specific and that you can see it, you know, it doesn't make any sense to have a coffee shop that's gonna serve coffee at 6 o'clock in the morning when you can't see a sign.
Well, and I would argue too that if it is the difference between like 5 feet, which would be in the, which would be easily not even approved, or we wouldn't have to approve it, like the difference between that and 2 feet is not all that much. So
Remember, it's
I-
not gonna
I
say
agree.
coffee shop.
And, yeah, and it's not even gonna tell what it is. so
You know
it's-
what, it doesn't matter, that's not our decision
But
what
you-
it
but you were
says.
saying
Starbucks
you want-
doesn't
that's what
say
you
it's
want to
coffee.
let.
So my argument for that.
That's
is
right.
So many names, Starbucks doesn't say it's coffee, McDonald's doesn't say I serve hamburgers. We've learned that those names are synonymous with
Branding.
those.
Yeah.
It's all about branding and creating that branding and creating that awareness, and that's what I plan to do. And so that's what is so hard about naming things. It's like, to go out and say, you know, it's called the Franklin, you know, we don't know that, it's just it's the Franklin or, you know, various things. You have to learn what that business is. So I don't think it's fair to say that something has to be called We Serve Coffee.
No.
So, because the name is a name. You learn, it's all about the branding and creating the awareness around that brand.
So the fear would be that somebody else, if you sold your building and somebody else had this sign here, that they would do some gigantic sign that maybe fits in, you know, into
No,
the code.
You're limited to the size that she's applying for.
Yes, yeah, so I
Okay.
think
Yeah,
that's the
that's
fear,
fine.
right? So if we limit it maybe
that's
just to the size and take out the illumination piece,
Yeah,
would everybody be okay with that?
You what?
If
Say
you're
that?
gonna amend the amendment,
Oh, sorry.
you have to get the original amendment motion person and the seconder to agree to that.
Well, I can, do you want me to amend?
No, you're the original. We got the original to the
You're
amendment.
the original amendment.
Okay, I'm the amender. One of you, both of you seconded, so who's gonna volunteer to be the seconder?
Okay.
Okay, Mark, are you okay with removing the lighting restrictions?
Yes.
Fine, we'll remove the lighting.
Okay,
Do
so
that
your
correctly.
motion to amend now has two things on it. The size and the trees.
Okay, so let me see if I get this correct. Mr. Roberts Rules of Order, sir.
I'm just going by what I know.
I propose, I make a motion that we amend the original motion to stipulate that the trees as indicated in the design be installed, and the sign size is bound by the size of the sign as proposed.
Seconder agrees?
Second.
Agrees.
Just say agrees.
Okay, so now, Mr. Chair, you did take a vote on the amendment, and then we'll go back and vote on the motion to see if those things are included in it.
okay. Voting on the amendment. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Amendment carries.
Okay, now you gotta vote on the motion itself as amended.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Passes.
And just,
But you made it.
just so you know, we
Build your
just,
sign.
we just passed a
What kind of
lighting
trees are you gonna put in?
in planning,
This is,
so you
I
don't need
wanted
to
the
worry.
birch trees,
We're good.
so,
Okay.
not
Yeah,
paper birch,
that-
but it's like a paper bark.
So-
Oh, the white paper birch?
Yeah, yeah,
I like your proposed
Oh,
sculpture.
that's nice.
thank you.
It's very cool.
It's purchased, it's sitting in storage, so,
Yeah, it's very
yeah,
cool.
thank you so much.
Hopefully
I'm
warm
excited
storage.
about it.
Let's see.
So, and construction has, we're well underway in construction,
Great.
so,
Do you have a timeline?
Spring?
I mean, in an ideal world, I
Wait,
want,
hold on one second, we got 2 things to do and then we're done.
okay.
So stay here, then we had questions about what's going on. I move we accept the minutes of the previous meeting as written.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Done. That takes care of that portion.
I move we adjourn the meeting.
Moved, so moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.